He told me I was beautiful, and I believed him. But what I didn't know was that his love would cost me my home, my savings, and almost my life. My name is Margaret, but you can call me Maggie. I am 74 years old. And before I continue, please tell me in the comments where you are watching from. It warms my heart to know that someone, somewhere, is listening. And if you believe stories like mine deserve to be heard, please like this video and subscribe, because out there are so many grandmas like me who are too ashamed to speak. But today, I will. It started with a Facebook message. It was a quiet evening, and I remember it so clearly, like it happened yesterday. I was sitting alone in my little kitchen in Ohio. The clock on the wall ticked, louder than usual. The television was on, but I wasn't watching it. I hadn't spoken to anyone all day. The silence. It can eat you alive when you're old and your children have lives of their own. I had just finished my tea, lukewarm by then, when my phone buzzed. A little ding, the sound of a message. Most of the time, it's junk, advertisements, spam. But that night, it wasn't. It was him. The name on the screen was unfamiliar. A man I had never seen. But his words, his words were soft. They were wrapped in kindness, the kind of kindness I hadn't felt in years. He wrote, "Hello, beautiful. I saw your profile picture, and I had to tell you, you have the warmest smile. Beautiful. It had been decades since anyone called me that. My late husband, God rest his soul, he used to whisper it in my ear when we were young. But he had been gone for over 15 years. Since then, no one had spoken to me that way. So I smiled, not just on the outside, but inside too. That word unlocked something in me that I thought was gone forever. I typed back, slowly, my wrinkled fingers shaky over the touch screen. Thank you. That's kind of you to say. And just like that, a door opened. You see, when you're lonely, it doesn't take much. A single kind word can feel like sunlight breaking through a stormy sky. And I was starving for sunlight. He told me his name was Daniel, a widower, a businessman working overseas. He said he was alone too. He said he understood what it meant to eat dinner in silence, to wake up to an empty bed, to miss the sound of laughter in the house. I listened, and I believed him. Night after night he messaged me. At first, just simple greetings. How are you today, beautiful? Or, did you sleep well, my dear? But then it grew deeper. He began to ask about my children, my past, my dreams. He wanted to know everything about me, and how I wanted someone to ask. I told him about my youth, how I used to sing in church, how I baked the best apple pie in the neighborhood, how my husband and I would dance in the living room when no one was watching. And he listened, or at least, he made me believe he did. Weeks passed. My days no longer felt empty. I had someone to look forward to. At 74 years old, I felt like a teenager again, smiling at my phone, waiting for his replies, checking every hour, every minute, like a girl with her first crush. But let me tell you something, my dear viewers. This is how it begins. Not with threats, not with violence, but with sweetness, with words so tender that they wrap around your heart like silk until you can't pull away. Daniel became my morning, my night, my friend, my companion. But most dangerously of all, Daniel became my hope. Then one evening, he sent me a photograph. A tall man, salt and pepper hair, standing in front of a shimmering ocean. His eyes looked kind, his smile confident, strong. He said, "This is me. So you know I'm real. Do you trust me?" And I, foolishly, desperately, wrote back, "Yes, I trust you." Looking back now, I wonder how many others he sent that same photo to. How many other grandmothers, widows, women sitting alone in their kitchens saw his face and believed. I wonder if even that man in the picture knows his face is being used. But at the time, I didn't wonder. I only believed. The first time he said he loved me, I cried. Not because I thought I deserved it, but because I never thought I would hear those words again in my lifetime. "I love you, Maggie," he wrote. "You are my sunshine in this lonely world." And my old tired heart, it bloomed. I know some of you listening right now are shaking your heads. You're thinking, how could she be so foolish? How could she fall for a stranger on the internet? But let me ask you this. Have you ever been lonely? Have you ever gone months without a warm hand to hold or a kind voice calling your name? Loneliness. It makes fools of us all. That was the beginning. A simple message. A stranger's kind word. And me, a lonely old woman, desperate to feel alive again. I didn't know then that this message would cost me everything. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, have you or someone you know ever been contacted by a stranger online who seemed too good to be true? What did you do? Did you believe them or did you block them? I want to hear your thoughts, because maybe your words will save another grandmother like me. When Daniel told me he loved me, I didn't just read the words. I felt them. They filled the cracks in my heart where grief and silence had lived for so long. I sat there in my dimly lit kitchen, staring at the message, tears falling onto the screen of my phone. At 74 years old, I thought love was finished for me. But suddenly, there it was, glowing on a little screen in my hand. For weeks I floated. My neighbors noticed me humming while I watered my plants. My daughter called and said, "Mom, you sound happy lately. What's going on?" And I lied. I told her it was just the joy of spring, but in truth, it was Daniel. He told me he was working in an oil company contract overseas, in Turkey, then Ghana, then back to London. Always moving, always too busy for video calls, but always finding time to send me paragraphs of sweet words. He would say, "When I close my eyes, I imagine us together. You, me, sitting by the fireplace, holding hands. Do you believe in second chances, Maggie?" And I would answer with a trembling smile, "Yes, Daniel, I do. I should have seen the red flags." But when your heart is hungry, you don't see red. You see roses, and I wanted so badly to believe in roses again. The first small request came quietly. He said his bank account was frozen while traveling. Just a little inconvenience. Could I loan him something? Just for a few days? Nothing big. 200. My hands shook as I pressed send. My pension was modest. But the thought of helping him, it made me feel needed again. He thanked me endlessly. He said I had saved him. He promised to repay me soon. And when he said, "I couldn't do this without you, Maggie," I believed him. But soon, the small requests grew bigger. $200 turned into $2,000. $2,000 into $20,000. And each time he had a story. A contract delayed. A medical emergency. A lost passport. And each time I told myself, he loves me, he needs me, I can't let him down. So I sold things. I pawned my jewelry. I even took money out of the home my husband and I built together. Brick by brick, back when life felt certain. If you're listening right now, maybe you're thinking, how could she fall for this? But let me tell you something. When a man writes to you every day, when he tells you that you're his sunshine, when he says he dreams of waking up beside you, the line between truth and lies, it blurs. There were nights I sat awake staring at the ceiling, whispering to myself, what if my children find out? What will they think of me? Will they laugh? Will they call me foolish? But then my phone would buzz. "Good morning, beautiful. I miss you." And just like that, my doubts melted. Because loneliness is heavier than money. And Daniel made me feel weightless. He began to talk about the future. "When I return to the States, Maggie, I'll take you to Paris. We'll see the Eiffel Tower. We'll sip wine by the Seine. You deserve to see the world again." And my heart, oh, my old heart, it soared like a schoolgirl's. Looking back, I wonder, how many times did I ignore my gut? How many times did I swallow that small whisper that said, something's wrong? Too many to count. But that's the thing about love, or what feels like love. It blinds you, it numbs your reason, and it makes you hand over your soul and your savings. The last time I wired him money, I hesitated. My finger hovered over the button. My hands trembled, and I whispered to myself, "This is the last time, Maggie. After this, he will come." He promised. I clicked. The money was gone, and so was Daniel. Days passed, then weeks, then months. No messages, no calls, nothing but silence. I sat by my phone like a widow at a graveside, waiting for words that never came. And that's when the truth began to sink in, slowly, painfully, like poison through my veins. Daniel wasn't real. His love wasn't real. His stories weren't real. But the money I lost, the shame I carried, the tears I shed, those were real. That was the end of Daniel. But it was only the beginning of my downfall, because the money was gone. The savings were gone. The house I built with my husband's sweat and my prayers, it was hanging by a thread. And my children, they still didn't know. Have you ever trusted someone, only to discover it was all a lie? Maybe it wasn't money they took. Maybe it was your time, your heart, your peace. Tell me, what do you think is worse, losing money or losing trust? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So I thought I could hide it. I really did. I thought if I smiled when they visited, if I baked their favorite pies, if I acted like everything was normal, then maybe no one would notice the cracks. But lies, they have a way of leaking, like water through an old roof. And soon the storm came. And sometimes, when I sit alone in this quiet living room, I wonder, how could I, a woman who lived through war, poverty, and betrayal, fall for an online scammer? I thought love was my second chance. But love turned into a trap, a golden cage. And the more I believed, the more I lost. It started small. At first, he would ask for nothing. He just listened. He told me I was beautiful. He told me I still had life in me. Do you know how powerful those words feel when you've been invisible for so long? My children barely called. My neighbors rushed past me. My phone would stay silent for days. And then this stranger, this man of God as he called himself, would wake me up with "Good morning, beautiful." At 67, nobody had called me beautiful in years. The first request came one cold night. He said his mother was sick. Hospital bills were piling. He sent me a picture of her on a hospital bed. Her eyes looked weak, her skin pale. I felt the pain in my bones. I too had once sold my necklace just to buy medicine for my late husband. So I thought, if I could ease his burden, maybe God would ease mine. I sent him $500. That $500 was the beginning of my downfall. Because once you give, they know you can give again. Once you open your hand, they squeeze it until your palm is empty. Next, it was his visa. Then his flight ticket. Then an accident at the oil rig. Then customs seized his package. Each time there was urgency. Each time he swore he would pay me back. Each time he reminded me, "Don't you trust me, Margaret? Didn't God bring us together for a reason?" I trusted. I believed. I sold my wedding ring. I pawned the land my husband left me. I even borrowed from the women's cooperative, lying that it was for my daughter's surgery. By the time I opened my eyes, I had lost $42,000. Now let me pause here. My dear listener, maybe you're watching me on your phone, maybe on your television screen. I want to ask you, and if someone you loved was slowly bleeding, their life savings for the promise of true love, would you stop them? Or would you let them chase the dream? Do you know the cruelest part? The day I finally told him I had nothing left, his voice changed. No more soft tones. No more my queen. No more sweet Margaret. He said, "You old fool. Who told you I loved you? You're just a wallet." Nothing more. Those words broke me more than the money I lost. Because money, you can work and regain. But trust, dignity, a broken heart at 67? Who repairs that? The nights after that were the worst. I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his laugh in my head. I kept replaying my daughter's words. "Mom, stop sending money to strangers online." I ignored her. I thought I knew better. Now I wonder, will she ever forgive me? And so, my dear listener, I leave you with this part of my story. Sometimes the enemy doesn't come with horns. He comes with honeyed words, with Bible verses, with pictures of sick mothers. And before you know it, he leaves you naked and ashamed. And if you've ever been scammed, or if someone you know fell victim, please share in the comments. Your words might heal another grandma like me who is sitting alone, in tears, ashamed to speak. And please, subscribe so my voice and the voices of many grandmothers don't die in silence. So after everything I've told you, I no longer know who I am. Am I the strong widow who raised 3 children after my husband died? Am I the faithful churchwoman who never missed Sunday service? Or am I the foolish old lady who wired away her life savings to a ghost? A voice? A thief hiding behind a keyboard? Sometimes I wonder which version of me people will remember. When the truth came out, my family was shattered. My eldest daughter stopped speaking to me for months. She said, "Mom, how could you be so blind? You always taught us to be careful, yet you fell for the oldest trick in the book." Her words stabbed deeper than the scammer's insult. Because from my children, I expected compassion. Instead, I found shame. I became the story people whispered about in the market. Did you hear Margaret sold her land to an internet lover? Imagine, at her age, and never ever ignore the warnings of your children. No matter how old you think you are, If my story has touched you, please leave a prayer for me. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video so the platform shows it to more people. And subscribe so the voices of women like me, grandmothers, mothers, widows, don't die unheard. I am Margaret. This is my confession. And now, my heart is in your hands. Do you know how that feels? It feels like dying while still alive. But I also learned something. When you are stripped of money, respect, and even dignity, you are left only with your truth. And my truth is this. I was lonely. And loneliness is the most expensive disease in the world. It doesn't just steal your joy. It empties your pockets. It tricks your mind. And if you're not careful, it buries you in silence. Let me ask you, my dear listener watching this now, how many grandmothers do you know? Sitting at home with no one to talk to, waiting for a phone call that never comes? How many of them would fall if a sweet voice called them beautiful at midnight? This is not just my story. This is the story of thousands of women. In America alone, over $1.3 billion was lost to romance scams last year. And the majority of victims? Women over 60. We are the forgotten ones, the invisible ones, the ones who still carry love in our hearts but no arms to hold us. I lost $42,000. I lost my wedding ring. I lost the land that held my husband's memory. But worst of all, I lost a piece of myself. Yet I refuse to stay silent, because silence kills faster than poverty. And maybe, just maybe, my broken voice will save another grandmother before it's too late. So I turn to you, my audience, wherever you are watching from. Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, the United States, Canada, Kenya, the UK, or anywhere across the world. Please do not laugh at me. Do not mock me. Instead, leave me a word of encouragement. Tell me I am not the only one. Tell me healing is possible, because words heal. And your comment may be the light another grandma needs to see tomorrow. My dear listener, before I close, let me say this. Never trade your peace for a promise of love online. Never sell your treasures to chase a ghost.